CD Projekt Red responds to fan requests for Cyberpunk, Edgerunners Season 2. Just to be clear, Edgerunners was a standalone work. The producer of Cyberpunk, Edgerunners, has stated that there are currently no plans for a second season. The 10-episode anime series was released on Netflix on September 13 and critical reception was widely positive. But CDPR community manager Satoru Honma would love for the company to make more anime in the future. Fans of Netflix's popular Cyberpunk 2077 anime Cyberpunk, Edgerunners worried about having their hearts broken all over again in a second season, can now have their hearts broken in an altogether different way. CD Projekt Red has confirmed that there are no plans for a second season. In an interview with Famitsu, which was translated by Video Games Chronicle, CD Projekt Red community manager Satoru Honma said there were no plans to pick up the story of Edgerunners with a second season. Cyberpunk, Edgerunners captivated a lot of gamers when it debuted recently, and now CD Projekt Red speaks about whether there will be a second season. CD Projekt Red confirms there are no current plans for a second season of Cyberpunk, Edgerunners. Releasing in September 2022, Cyberpunk, Edgerunners is the anime adaptation of Cyberpunk 2077. Set in Night City, but focusing on a different protagonist and characters from the game, Cyberpunk, Edgerunners received a lot of praise from fans and critics alike. Many believed that the resurgence of Cyberpunk 2077 was down to Cyberpunk, Edgerunners at least in some part, showing just how popular the anime was. As such, in a recent interview with Famitsu, CD Projekt Red's Japan country manager Satoru Honma was asked if this reaction had led to the possibility of a second season. However, Honma replied that there were no plans to continue the story. "I personally would like to continue to work with Japanese studios to produce more anime in the future, partly because we have received very good feedback," Honma explained. However, just to be clear, Cyberpunk, Edgerunners was planned as a standalone work, so there's no such thing as we are actually working on Season 2 in the background. Even if we could make more anime in the future, I don't know if it would be Season 2 or something completely different. In its 10-episode season, Cyberpunk, Edgerunners manages to tell a concise story centered around David Martinez, a young student who becomes a cyberpunk following the death of his mother. At first, some fans were unsure of the departure from characters they knew from Cyberpunk 2077, especially in the replacement of V as the protagonist. However, some of the characters in the anime quickly ended up becoming fan favorites, with viewers especially drawn to Rebecca and Lucy from Cyberpunk, Edgerunners. While a lot of characters' stories may have ended by the time Season 1 wraps up, this hasn't stopped many fans from requesting more from the anime. However, it seems that CD Projekt Red doesn't have any plans to continue the story of Cyberpunk, Edgerunners. Speaking with Famitsu, CD Projekt Red's Japan country manager Satoru Honma claims that the original plan for Cyberpunk, Edgerunners was that it would be a standalone work. Honma then goes on to say that fans should get the idea of CD Projekt Red working on a Season 2 in the background out of their heads, but that he personally would like to work on more anime adaptations. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is animated by Tokyo-based animation company Studio Trigger, directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi, Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Promar, and features an original score composed by Akira Yamaoka, Silent Hill. The series has been a huge hit for its creators, having been in Netflix's global top 10 for over a month and garnered one of the streaming platform's highest review scores ever. The show's popularity, combined with a new patch and discount, led to a huge increase in players of the Cyberpunk 2077 game, with more than 1 million playing daily. CD Projekt announced earlier this month that it's working on a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077, among other projects. The Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, codenamed Project Orion, will be developed by CD Projekt Red North America, a new studio opening in Boston, USA, and prove the full power and potential of the cyberpunk universe, the company said. Work on Orion will begin after the release of the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, Phantom Liberty, next year. A lot of this comes down to the very good feedback CD Projekt Red has received following its first foray into anime adaptations. However, this doesn't mean that the next time CD Projekt Red works on an anime it'll be Season 2 of Edgerunners. As Honma states, it could be something completely different. Looking at the story of Cyberpunk, Edgerunners, it seems like the show ends without much being left for a second season. However, some fans have sought to continue the anime's narrative through Cyberpunk 2077 mods, with one expanding on Lucy's history. As well as only planning one season of Cyberpunk 2077's anime adaptation, it seems CD Projekt Red will only be releasing one DLC expansion for the game. It was expected that Phantom Liberty would be the first of a couple of expansions for the game, something that CD Projekt Red later denied, stating the DLC was the only major one it had planned for Cyberpunk 2077.